Not a lot, but as after every game we go with a few people, drink a glass of wine, and then we go home because it was quite late already when all my media duties were done.
Is there an update on Trent Alexander-Arnold? Will he be available this weekend?
No, I don't think so yet. No, that's going to be too early for him.
Derby maybe, or?
We don't play Derby County.
The Derby.
Oh, the Derby. Yeah, difficult to say. It's like I said before. It's not going to take months and not even weeks, but that will be. Yeah, that's only 3 days after the Plymouth Argyle game. So let's wait and see if he's available. We also have to look at the long term. Of course, we don't want to take any risk with so many games afterwards coming up. But if he's fit. Then of course we will use him.
How key is rotation again this weekend, and what kind of a balancing act do you have? Because there's a number of players that I'd imagine you want to give game time because you want to get their match sharpness up, but at the same time, if you have too many players in there who aren't fully sharp, it can make these ties that bit trickier for you.
Yeah, I think it's always a tricky tie, no matter what team you play, because it's an away game. It's their final probably, as many times if Liverpool comes anywhere. So, but it is true that if you play with a team that hasn't played so much together, that is always for the players a bit more difficult. But I think we've seen already a few times when we played with a team that hasn't played much together. Even in Eindhoven in the Champions League game, these players were able to play a very good game, and. So I think it's important these moments for some players that don't get many playing time to have that playing time. So whenever we need them, they are ready. If you never play them, then it's so difficult for them to be ready if we do get some injuries or suspensions. So yeah, we will definitely use a few players that haven't played that much, but we will make that final call tomorrow.
And last night, Jamie Carragher described Virgil van Dijk as being too good for the highest level of football. He went on to say it almost feels like there should be another level above for Van Dijk because he plays the game with such ease, which backs up the argument that he could be the best ever centre-half in the Premier League. I just wonder what you think and also what you hope the future brings for him, both this season and beyond.
So they are friends again. The two of them.
I think so.
Yeah. No, I think Virgil deserves every compliment he gets. He's been outstanding for this club for so many years, and since I'm working here, he's been outstanding for me as well, for the performances he brings in. And yesterday was again an example of that. He was also in a good way, in a good manner, aggressive. He led the team in a way. With the ball, we all know what he can do, but also without the ball, he was sharp and ready. And it was not a coincidence that it took 80 minutes before they had their first shot on target. So Virgil, like many others, has a great season. Has a good season, but he wants, just like all the others, to make it a great season, and therefore we have to play still many games.
And what do you hope the future brings for him?
How do you say this?
Good health.
A good health, yeah, for him and his family. That's the first thing I wish him, and I hope I can enjoy working with him for a long time. But that I don't think is a surprise for you, is it?
Not at all. Thank you.
Cheers. Conor Bradley showed last night again what an attacking threat he can be, getting that assist for the third goal, and the runs he makes for a right back, quite unusual for a right back, often through the centre, really high up. How do you make sure that there are no gaps left defensively when he's making so many runs like that?
First of all, not lose the ball. That's the smartest thing you can do, and the good thing is that the players that have the ball, and he has to understand when he has to make that run. And this was, when it led to the 3-0, a very good choice because Maka had the ball. And he had the ball quite open, so he was not under any threat. And if Maka has the ball, I would make a run as a teammate as well, because it's a fair chance that he will find you in the perfect moment, in the perfect pass, with the perfect pass. So, first of all, it's about the timing. When do you make these runs? If the ball is under threat, then maybe it's not a smart moment. But if the ball is completely open and we can change sides, it's a perfect moment for him to start his run. And of course, we also always have Ibu and Virgil and the other fullback behind the ball, including Ryan. So if for whatever reason we do lose the ball over there, it's not like there are no defenders left anymore.
I know fans have been very happy with Conor's performances when he's played. If Trent Alexander-Arnold were to be injured for a long time, or if he were to leave the club, is Conor Bradley good enough to be your first choice regular right back?
He would be proud of you that you come up with a different idea of asking this question. I think it's fair to say that for many positions we have two very good players. So that's for the right fullback position. For the left fullback position, we've got more than two good centre backs, and I can go up through the whole team telling you this. So it's also normal if you work at a club of this magnitude and that wants to compete for every trophy, that you have more than 11 good players, and right fullback position is definitely an example of that.
And Arne, several of the players have talked about this year having more time to live a normal life than in the past, being husbands, in some cases fathers. Is that something that you consciously take into account to kind of keep the squad fresh, keep them happy, and I mean, is that a conscious strategy, or it just so happens that compared with your predecessor, that's just the way you do things?
I can't compare with how it was, but it's definitely, if you want to call it a strategy, but it's definitely, I see them as human beings as well. And we are working very hard if we are here at the AXA and if we are playing a game. I think there was a great example yesterday again of how hard these players work. But if you want to just keep on going for such a long season because they never have a week or 2 weeks off, then I think at certain moments they have to be at home as well and being a father or a husband as well. Because if you are only a football player for 15, 16, 17 years with only 3 weeks off during the summer, and if you can only be a father or a husband for 3 weeks a year, that would not be human. So of course we take this into account, but we do these things mainly because we think it benefits us for winning football games. So.
And part of that manifests itself in, for example, staying at home the night before a home match rather than all gathering in a hotel as has been done in the past?
That's part of it. The other part is that people tell me, and the people that have more knowledge than me about this, that you always sleep better in your own bed than in a hotel bed. So, and sleep is a very important part of getting the best possible performance. So it's not only the argument you just gave for them to be at home with their families, but it's definitely also that they are better prepared for a game, in the opinion of people that tell me this. And I have no reason not to believe them, because if you use common sense, I think everybody can understand that you sleep better in your own bed than in a hotel bed. So if it's not necessary, we indeed sleep at home.
Hi, Arne. Liverpool were in contention for all trophies last season before their form dropped off. Are the team better placed to go for all four this season?
It's difficult for me to judge because I wasn't here last season. So I don't know. I can only tell you that we are at this moment of time in a very good place. And I'm not only talking about the result yesterday evening, but the players are fit already. Not only the 11 that were on the pitch yesterday, but the ones that came in as well. So we're in a good place, but we also know how long the season still is, and how many difficult challenges there will still be for us. But we are in a good place. There's only one downside of beating Tottenham 4-0, because the last time we beat them 6-3, I think it was a week later that we beat West Ham 5-0, and all of a sudden that was the bar. So when we just started winning 1-0, everybody was saying they don't have the same form anymore. Yeah, we are in a good place, but I'm not expecting us to win every single game in the manner we won it yesterday. But that's also not what I ask of them. We just try to do everything to win every single football match. And if it can happen like yesterday in such a good and dominant performance, that's perfect. If not, we have to find another way to win that game.
James?
Arne, just actually about James McConnell. So he took the decision not to loan him out and keep him around for the rest of the season. What is it you've seen from him that's impressed you so much?
I think you watched the PSV game as well. So that's what you see, and what I see is him on the training pitch competing with all our other midfielders. And then I see a player that is, like I just said, competing with them. So always gives everything he has. And Tyler Morton is out with an injury for a while. So that means, I think he was maybe our sixth midfielder. And James is taking that position for the upcoming weeks as well. So it's a combination of both. It's him doing really well, and the injury of Tyler Morton.
What's Tyler done?
Am I allowed to say that? Yeah, it's his shoulder. He has a shoulder injury.
How long do you think he'll be out for?
4 or 4 weeks, or maybe even longer. Yeah.
I just checked on Alisson. Is Alisson? Well, I didn't know what the issue was yesterday. You said he was just rested, or is it different?
Yeah, I think I said before the game that we almost every time we've played the second goalkeeper in the League Cup. So at Brighton it was fit, because at that moment of time Queef was the number one, because Alisson was injured at that moment. There was only one exception, and that was Tottenham away, where Alisson came back from an injury, and I thought and felt he needed some extra playing time, because if you come back from injury, you see this with many players, they sometimes need a bit of time to be at their best again. They're still good, but for them to be at their best again. And then 3 days later we played the Accrington Stanley game, and then 3 days later we played Forest, and with him being just back from an injury, for me it felt better for him to play and then have a week rest and then have Nottingham Forest. So that was more with the idea of being best possible prepared for the league. And yesterday was a League Cup game, so that meant Queef was on goal, and he absolutely deserved to be on goal for everything he did this season until now.
So will you leave it so close to the final to decide who'll play the final?
We never know what the situation around the final is. How fit is everyone? Do they need a game? Yes or no? So I cannot guarantee anything. I never guarantee anything towards players so far in advance, and that's not what I'm going to do now as well.
No.
Hi Arne, you spoke earlier about the difficulty of leaving players out of the squad when they've been fit and training well. Depending upon obviously the outcome of this game and maybe a subsequent draw, this could be the last game of the season for some players in the squad. So in that desire to impress and maybe stay involved, is there a danger maybe their performance is more about their individual ambitions rather than those of the team? And is this something that you've maybe discussed with some of them?
No, I don't discuss this. If I have to discuss this now, I didn't do my work properly for the first 6, 7 or 8 months. I think I tried to convince them every single day that only the individual performance can be of a high level if the team performance is of a high level. And if they now think that they need to do individual things to get playing time with me, then I did something wrong in the past 7 or 8 months. They don't get playing time because they score 3 goals or have a great attacking. They first of all need to work as hard for the team as, for example, the players did yesterday. And if you cannot bring this, then you have hardly any chance to come into the team. If you do bring this, then I'm not judging them on quality, because I know all of them have quality. So then sometimes you have a good game, sometimes you have an okay game. But the only thing the standard is that you work incredibly hard, and that's the only chance you have to come into this team.
Arne, the Aston Villa game's now moved forward to against the 19th.
Yeah.
Do you have any view on that, or it's just one of those things?
Oh yeah.
Success.
We want to be competing for every trophy. We want to be in every competition. No, then we must not complain about the amount of games we have to play. I don't see an advantage or a disadvantage. So we play probably Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday or something like this, and Aston Villa will probably do the same. So it is what it is. I said before, 2 or 3 days ago, maybe that's the last time I have to talk about this, that if you are a club that has to play so many games, even clubs that don't have to play so many games have 22, 23 players, and then to go to a game with 20 players, that's not a problem, because you can only make 5 substitutions, but you want to create something, and you want to give academy players a chance once in a while as well. And if you can only bring 20 players, that is the biggest problem for the academy players. If I would have had 23 players yesterday, then James McConnell and maybe Rio or Trey were in the squad, and it was an ideal moment for them to get a bit of playing time yesterday. But yeah, I could only bring 20. So I think if you look at the long-term future for England, for their players, for the academy players, would be a smart decision to go to 23. And don't tell me that that is the disadvantage of the smaller clubs, because I have 9 fantastic substitutes if I have 20. So it's not that I then all of a sudden have 12 great substitutes. That is, 9 is already enough, but it's more giving chances to younger players as well. That would be beneficial if we go to 23, like every other league in Europe.
Except for Trent Alexander-Arnold and Tyler Morton, how happy are you to have a fully fit squad, or nearly fully fit squad at this stage of the season?
Yeah, you can answer that question yourself. I think as well. It's something you want. If you have to play so many games and the importance of the games only are growing and growing and growing, you want to have as most players available as you can. And I have to give big compliments not only to the performance staff but also to the players, because they put a lot of effort in to stay as fit as they are. It's not only what they do on the training ground or what they do during the game. If you look at them, how professional they are around the training session before and after, then it's not a surprise to me that they stay as fit as they are at the moment.
Arne, you said a couple of months ago how you thought Darwin had a couple of things to improve in terms of his all-round game. The last few weeks his link-up play seemed very good, to me at least. What have you made of Darwin and his all-round game in the last month or so?
Yeah, better indeed. I think in general we use the number 9 better and better than we maybe did in the beginning of the season. So that is the positive thing of playing more games, training more together, have more meetings together, that you can highlight that a bit more as well. I think in the beginning of the season we were quite dependent on our wingers, but I see that we are starting to use our 9 more and more in situations that we have to use them, and as a result of that these players come in promising positions and they have just as much quality as our wingers. So if you put Jota in a promising position, or if Lucio plays there, or Darwin, they will give you what we're all hoping for, and that's goal and assists.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, Arne.
Thank you.
Take care.